What's up everyone? Welcome back to Making Motor Moves. Today, I'm gonna give you a complete walkthrough on our 1992 Sea Ray 380 SS Sun Sport. There were only 125 of these boats made, only 4 with this bow pulpit extension. Not many other videos like this exist on the internet for this style of boat because it is so rare. But enjoy it. As always, like, subscribe to the channel, and here we go. So for starters, we pulled this boat out of the weeds at the Lake of the Ozarks in May of this year. The boat had been sitting for roughly 5 years or so and needed a lot of work. The previous owner had lost interest in it and let it sit for a while, and unfortunately it was about to be crushed and scrapped. It's a little bit interesting. In the early 2000s, the drives and engines in this boat were swapped to Mercruiser 454 MPI fuel injected engines with Bravo 3 drives behind them, and they were going to be pulled out of the boat when this thing was scrapped and just sold off. But fortunately, we swooped in. We were able to talk to the previous owner and find a trailer for this boat, which is currently sitting over there. This is our newest trailer that we bought for it because we had so many problems with that trailer. But anyway, I will get to that. To summarize the backstory, we paid 15 grand for this boat. A lot of people in the comments on the listing were saying, oh, how could you ever pay that much money? This boat is junk, it needs to be thrown away. No one would ever want to restore that or fix it up. However, we're the crazy ones who did. So, here we go. 1992 Sea Ray 380 SS. I've also heard it called a 38 SS. There's a very similar model of this boat called a 370 37 SS. Let's not get it confused. This is a Sea Ray 380 SS Sun Sport, made from 1992 to 1999. Originally, this boat came with twin 454 carbureted engines paired to Bravo 1 drives. Now, it currently has the twin 454 7.4 liter Mercruiser MPI engines with twin Bravo 3 drives. That is your counter rotating stainless steel 24 pitch props. So when we bought it, my original intention is to do a complete restoration on it and bring it back to its former glory. And as you can see right now, we're nowhere near having this boat where we want it to be. However, when we pulled it out of the lake, we knew we were gonna have our hands full working on this guy. But so far, so good. We put new bottom paint on it. Again, we bought this beautiful 45-foot long aluminum gooseneck trailer out of Nashville, Tennessee. A guy on Facebook was able to hook me up with this trailer. I don't know what else you'd use to tow a boat like this around. I mean, it's got triple 8,000 pound axles underneath it, 8 lug. I'm replacing all the tires currently right now. But anyway, it has been awesome for this boat so far because we do a lot of trailering with this boat, and that's not really common. Normally these things just sit in marinas and you're not worried about taking it in and out of the water a bunch, but we do it almost every single weekend. We did have this one that came free with the boat, and we had to fix it up a bunch. We had so many problems with our axles blowing out, blowing tires, that finally we said, you know what, screw this, we're gonna do it right and get something that can actually reliably tow this boat around the US for us. So this trailer, we currently got to replace one more hub. These 2 have already been replaced. A couple tires have been replaced. We're going to replace some more. We've done paint, carpet, rope, bow catcher, winch tower, and winch, as well as new trailer wiring. But we're going to fix that up and then give that to somebody that wants to use it for maybe a few trips a year just to pull their boat in and out of the water. But it wasn't going to work great for us because it's probably not rated for a boat this big. Anyway, back to this boat. Here we go. original decals on the side here. All this is going to be stripped, and the boat is actually scheduled to get itself wrapped here in the next couple weeks, hopefully. So the idea, I think, is now that we have the black bottom paint on it, we want to put like a gunmetal or dark gray or maybe even navy blue wrap from the trim line down to the water line of the boat. Believe it or not, this style boat only sits right about here in the water. It's pretty buoyant, and if you look down, it has the deep V style hull. And let's get you a better view from the back here. It has the deep V style hull, absolute wave crusher. This thing will go about 50 miles an hour with the current engine and package setup, and it just crushes through 3 to 4 foot waves. Absolutely incredible. Now, you definitely want to make sure things are battened down below, but I'm just blown away by how well this thing handles in the water. I mean, it's a big boat. This boat weighs roughly 13,000 pounds with fuel and water and gear on board. It's supposed to weigh like 11.2 dry, but it's definitely a lot heavier than that, especially when you get it all loaded up. But the draft on it is only, with the drives up, about 28 inches, and with the drives down, I think just over 3 feet. So it can actually go in some pretty shallow water. Obviously, you should be careful. Enough of me talking about the background and the outside of this boat. Let's go ahead, climb on board, and go on inside. So climbing into this boat, you immediately notice how wide it is. The boat actually sits at its widest point at 11.5 feet. We've measured it. I think the specs say it is 11, but we measured it. It's 11.5 feet wide at its widest point. Therefore, when we trailer it, we have to have an oversized load permit for our vehicles. Here is your original Sea Ray 380 designation badge on the back. The only places it says it's a 380 is on the side where it just says 38, and then on the back. So that's where the confusion and what model this boat is can come from sometimes. As we move forward here, you notice there's no walk-through on the back of this boat. You actually have to walk over the engine hatch. And right now we have it cracked open. We have one of our batteries on the trickle charger down below, but this is actually a hydraulically actuated hatch. It is roughly 9 feet 8 inches wide and provides plenty of room for anyone that would like to lay on this swim platform. If you really wanted to, you could probably fit 4 comfortably, if not 5 or maybe even 6 people across the back of the boat and not have any problems. As you come forward, you have this half moon, let's call it 2/3 of a circle wraparound seating in the boat. Now you'll notice ours here is really tore up and needs some help. It's dirty, especially back here as well. The seams and stitching is starting to come apart. It's something that we have slowly been working on, but as far as the summer months go right now, we're still using the boat. As soon as winter hits though, however, all of this upholstery is gonna come out of the boat, get sent off to somebody who's gonna redo the upholstery for us, and it will be looking way better when it comes back. So this is really gonna spruce up this boat and make it look a lot more modern. We're thinking about going to some sort of tan, brown, accented style of upholstery to really make the gray on the side or blue or whatever it ends up being pop. And also it'll hit well with what you see inside the cabin when we get there. And at the same time, a lot of the fiberglass is pretty dirty and oxidized. That we've been waiting on as well to see what we really want to do, whether we want to buff the whole top or actually wrap the entire boat and not just from the trim line down. We will get to the engines here soon. I'll lift that hatch up for you guys and we'll go through all the specs on those after we tour the rest of the cabin. So with the open floor plan in this boat, you end up with a lot of storage and places to keep things. Like in these corner triangle pockets, we keep a lot of our ropes and larger bumpers. That just makes it easier to access when you're out on the water. Moving forward, on this back seat here, we estimate about 8 people can sit comfortably, but if you really need to, you can squeeze more. And again, this boat is yacht certified, so that means there is no operating capacity on the boat. It is at the discretion of the captain. So we have currently 26 life jackets in this boat. We normally do not go out with more than 20 people. However, if there were more people on the boat, we'd have the life jackets for it and we wouldn't get in trouble if we were to be pulled over. But you can see right here, is our yacht certified designation. Pretty neat that this boat's big enough to be considered a yacht. As you'll notice out here, we have a spot for a exterior sink. Here, you could use as a beverage storing cabinet. However, we have an inserted trash can that goes in there and it makes a good spot for an exterior trash can. Previously, there was a miniature refrigerator that went out here that has been removed. We're actually just going to turn this into a cabinet because down below there's already a refrigerator, and we don't really see a necessity to have 2 refrigerators on this boat because typically we just bring out a bunch of coolers. Now, what some of you may have noticed already, and what is a really neat feature for this boat, is this aluminum forward angled arch that spans the entire width of the boat. This is a really neat accent for this style of boat that many of them didn't come with. As the boats got newer, this actually got all enclosed with fiberglass and became a commonly seen fiberglass arch over the entire boat, but makes a very convenient place to mount tower speakers, tower outdoor speakers, 2 that came with the boat, 2 more that we added, as well as our flagpole holders for when we're out on the water and we want to put some flags up there. Moving towards the front of the boat, which actually this kind of sits right in the middle of the boat as far as its total length goes, is our captain's chair and our co-pilot's chair. Here, pretty much space for 1 person to sit. You could squeeze 2 if you really wanted to, but this is where it really is nice, as you have space for a captain to sit, as well as a friend, a partner, whoever you want it to be to sit next to you. So decently spaced for any size person and ultimately really comfortable. But again, these seats are going to be removed and all this upholstery is going to be replaced. We're going to leave the same style of seats up here. However, these will get pulled out and we're going to put a lot nicer upholstery in this boat to really make it pop. Not to mention, across the floor will be all sea decking. The orangish brown style of sea decking that a lot of people like to put in their boats to really make it pop and modernize it. Underneath our 2 front chairs, we have a couple storage compartments. Right now we have a secondary anchor in this one. We need to replace the door on it. There's one of our mini fire extinguishers that are on the boat. A little side compartment for whatever you need. Spot for cup holders. There's cup holders all over this boat. Again, another storage compartment down below. A couple speakers, a nice footrest. And then we get to our captain's helm. Lots of gauges, lots of stuff going on, but as far as 1992 standards went, everything here is pretty well labeled. We have all of our old style switches for any function you could ever imagine in a larger boat like this. All these gauges are functional, they work. Notice there's no speedometer for the boat. There's only 2 tachometers for the engines, and that's because typically you probably don't want to know what your speed is in a boat this big. However, I would tell you in newer boats, that's definitely a pretty common thing, is to know how fast you're going, especially for no wake zones or areas where there might be a speed limit. Anyway, I think for this section here, a lot of this is going to be redone over the winter months. Replacement of switches, maybe an update in gauges. We have a new depth finder for it that's a little easier to read. This one actually doesn't work right now. And then we've replaced some switches here, so our drive switches in and out. Trim tabs, these were an aftermarket part that we didn't add but was already with the boat. And then even better, your sport shifters. So this boat came with originally twin shifters. So you have your forward reverse shifters over here, forward reverse, and then your throttles over here. So all this has been altered to fit up to the fuel injected engines that are in the back, which is pretty neat that they were able to do that. Someone added an aftermarket cup holder, places to store things down there. Bear with us, guys. It is a work in progress, so there is a lot of junk everywhere. That's just the way it goes, especially when you do these restoration projects. I will point out while we're here, it has spots for 3 shore power inputs. I believe 1 is for TV, the other 2 are for power. That's not something that we really use. However, it is with the boat if it were to sit in a marina, and it's pretty nice. It comes with your massive shore power cable, which actually, I will mention, is in this compartment down below. The boat actually comes with a major storage compartment slash maintenance area in the middle of the boat. Right now we have a lot of junk in here. Some swim toys, a little makeshift bed platform we made for an insert up front. However, in here, things like our amplifier for our stereo system. What would have been an old AC unit used to go up there. And then we have our sewage system on the side, our freshwater tank here in the middle, and then moving backwards is just more open space. So pumps, lines, lots of stuff that most people want to see, but really, I mean, there is about 3.5 feet of open space vertically, and then at least 9 feet of space down below there. So really nice for coolers and whatever else you might want to store down in the boat. What's pretty neat is this boat is actually featured with a windlass anchor system that came with the extended bow pulpit. So up front there, if you guys can see, is our windlass anchor. Right now, the anchor has been detached, but there's about 100 feet of chain that is stored up front of the boat that is controlled by this switch down here. So we have a lock and unlock feature for the anchor, an anchor up, anchor down switch for when you're ready to set it, and a master on-off switch for the power, because believe it or not, it actually draws a decent bit of power. And last but surely not least, a compass that is fed off of a centralized beacon sender in the front of the boat that tells us exactly where we're oriented all the time. As we move into the cabin, we'll notice this nice sliding door that has been featured in a lot of boats for many years, but very heavy duty, seals well. This one has a little bit of trouble sliding along its track currently, but the plan is to fix that. But moving in, decent headroom. I'm 6'2", and I barely have to duck as I lean over the entrance here. Not so bad. These are really nice step down into the main cabin. And then looking up, I have at least 6 inches of space between my head and the ceiling. Can't complain at all. If I move further into the cabin, there's actually some more space. But looking around initially, you have your stereo system right on the way in, and ours, of course, is missing part of this cabinet that retracts. What used to be a tube TV, but has since been removed to install our new stereo system. That needs to be cleaned up. And I think the idea here is to actually put a flat screen, new style TV. Cast to or watch sporting events, music videos, play music, whatever it might be. Here we have standard microwave that will run off of shore power, more storage, all along the entire boat. Down below here, again, more of these sliding cabinets. You might be able to store wine bottles in there. Right now we have some soap and sunscreen, a nice central sink, a mini refrigerator down below, a drawer, a cabinet. And then doing a sweep of the room, we actually almost have identical wraparound seating to what currently exists outside. So roughly 8 people comfortably. You could squeeze some more, but this is really nice. On the boat here, this was actually all redone. They added this new upholstery in the bottom of the boat down here, and we're really not going to touch it because it's in really good shape. The carpet was new at the time as well. This has been shampooed a few times, but all in all, not so bad. Here we have some more storage. Right now we have a bunch of boat towels and cleaning towels that sit in there. Identical on the other side, a cabinet with a hanger and spot to store things. Here right now we have our navigation light that we add to the windshield at night. More cabinets. Currently there's some speakers in there that we'd like to mount inside. And then all around the boat, and Sea Ray did this a lot in the 90s, is these old cheap style swivel lights that actually the pieces on them will break off and they end up hanging here like this. So, and then the tried and true bathroom. Really nice porcelain toilet, nice porcelain sink. It's really clean in here. It smells good because we have treatment in the sewage system. No one uses the bathroom, which is awesome. And then some sort of mirror here that for some reason folds up. It literally, someone explained to me what the purpose of this is. But spot to hang towels if you need to. The lights up there. Sorry, it's kind of dark right now, but it's mostly a storage closet for us. But really nice space. Moving forward, again, we got our cabinets, which are good. And then our big bed area up here. Phil's mom redid this whole cushion. We need to pull it out, wash it, and clean it again. But underneath it is a bunch of storage. where we keep our life jackets. And then we got a couple things of storage on the side. But I've gone through all this. Compartments are really dry. They're nice. I need to remove this trim in the front here that's stained and gross, and the same for over here on this side. And then I think we are going to carpet clean the entire headliner, which doesn't look horrible. It's just got some stains. This is really a nice bed. There's a lot of space. We've squeezed 3 people up here. Very comfortable for 2. And then these hatches. We got 2 nice open hatches that need to have their seals redone, but nice feature. And then if we move all the way up front, can I get it? Oh, here we go. We got our big old windlass anchor. Look how big that motor is. Big wires going to it. We had to replace some of the wires. All of our chain sits there and goes through that hole. And then we got our buttons up front to operate the anchor from the front. But again, we've got a couple lights up front. The old plastic that breaks, got to replace that. I mean, this is really spacious, neat boat from the early 1990s. I really think Sea Ray did a good job with these boats. Under here, I think, yeah, there's some more storage underneath these seats. But, I mean, we got a couple levels, a couple steps. You can sit on these really comfortably without your feet hanging down. Really a nice laid out boat that's really spacious. And then right here, actually in the floor, whenever this carpet was replaced, they didn't reopen the hole, but there's a hole right here that you can put a table, and a whole table goes right here for you to sit at. Climate control, super cool. But that's it. That is your full tour of the 1992 Sea Ray 380 SS that we bought for $15,000. We're fully restoring, and we're planning on fixing up and selling in the spring. So if anyone's interested, this boat will be for sale in the spring of 2022. I mean, we got it all tore apart right now. Pulling all the cushions out, even all the cushions for the dash panel. I mean, look at this, all this stuff. This will all be pulled off and redone, and even new backing boards for all the gauges and switches, new speakers. That carpet will probably be just cleaned and left there. Probably new paint for up here. Fix the sliding door so it slides better. So that's all we got, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you later. Take it easy.